What is up, YouTube? We have some pretty interesting stories for you today. We have the return of Riddler Khu, kinda. We have some possible bad news about Pokemon Legends ZA. We also have a pretty interesting 4chan text dump. Finally, people are talking about Generation 10 instead of just throwing out these Legends ZA text dumps. We have some updates about what's going on in Season 12 of Overwatch, as well as a little bit of Switch 2 information. The reviews are out for Black Myth Wukong. We're going to talk about all that today and a little bit more. So, of course, get ready for the show. My name is Mario, aka the Loot Box Hero, aka the real Super Mario here, bringing you another video. Alright, so we have some interesting news from Riddler Khu. So Riddler Khu posted this, it's not a GIF, that's an emoji. I'm old, leave me alone. It's an emoji of a cocktail glass, you know what I'm saying? So with the little cocktail umbrella in it. And so then that trainer D asked him, "What you sipping on?" And he says, "Potential riot vibe." And so then Savvy Artist says, "Pokemon related or just listening to some good mood tunes?" And he says, "Definitely Pokemon related." So basically, he's finally got some information. All right, because so far, Riddler Khu has just kind of been really not posting anything. Mainly because, it's not, I guess it hasn't really been much to post. He's our main leaker, and if he doesn't have anything, then there might not be anything to have. But now it looks like he does have something. Of course, earlier he also said that he was cooking something about the starters. So this could be what that is, because this was after that post, or this could be something completely different. Because some people were saying that maybe this was the code name for Generation 10. All right, now we do know that Game Freak has multiple teams, so of course they could have one smaller team doing pre-game work, pre-production work on Generation 10, while the other team is in full-blown production on Legends ZA. That's a possibility. So the code name for Generation 10 could be Cocktail. Now, I'm not saying that for real, because I don't know. This is an assumption, okay? Don't take that and run with it, all right? Don't go be like, Mario said, Mario said this could possibly be. All right, this is not the Bible truth, okay? So, yeah, it could be cocktail. It also could be a specific type of cocktail. All right, because we know that there are different cocktails for different locations in the world. Like mojitos, come from like Cuba. You know what I'm saying? Martinis are from like London. 007. I doubt they would do another London game. At least not this soon. You know what I'm saying? Because that would be Galar, which I don't think we're gonna go back there for a while. The other thing is, cocktail itself, the term cocktail was actually invented in New York. And you know what connection New York has to Pokemon, right? Yeah, Generation 5. So there's a possibility that we could be getting those Generation 5 games. Because he said this is potential riot vibe, which means that it could be potentially bad. Maybe not riot in a good way, like you won the soccer game, so you go out there and burn the corner store down or whatever. But riot in a bad way, like, oh no, we're gonna get BDSP-ified Generation 5, which could be a possibility. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me probably thinking too much into an emoji. All right, so we're going to slide on into the 4chan text dump right now. We're going to go ahead and do this. So this one's a Generation 10 one. I found an interesting one. And it wasn't just like, Legends ZA. I wanted to mix it up a little bit. So this one says Generation 10 leaks. It says the region is based on Greece. Fairly large map. Legendary Pokemon are based off of a Griffin, Minotaur, Centaur, and a Pegasus. I actually think that's kind of bananas. All right, that's kind of cool because it's kind of mind-boggling that we've gone this long and we have 1,000 Pokemon and we don't have a Griffin Pokemon yet. We don't have a Griffin Pokemon. I've thought about this for years. I'm like, why do we not have a Griffin Pokemon? You know what I'm saying? We've got just about every mythological creature imaginable, but not one of the most recognizable ones, the Griffin. It's kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? So this kind of works out. Not to mention all of these creatures are connected to Greek mythology. So DLC will be in 3 segments, similar to Scarlet and Violet. Don't know if it's 1 story or 3 solo stories. Regional forms like Probaz, Pyroar, Camerupt, and Lucario. And it will have approximately 110 new Pokemon. So far, this all sounds really good. Nothing sounds too good to be true other than that number of Pokemon. Like 110 Pokemon, that's kind of a lot. Like, that's kind of a lot this late in the game. All right, you know what I'm saying? Because usually I kind of expect 90 and below. Rarely are we going to crack over 100 new Pokemon. But it's a possibility, though. But as these games get more advanced, and they have, we're going to, especially when we get to our first 4K Pokemon game, I don't think we're going to have 110 Pokemon. I don't think we're going to get 100 new Pokemon per game for a while, unless it's like it is a big anniversary, so maybe they'll pull out the stops for this one. But you got to remember, Gen 10 could very possibly be the first 4K Pokemon game, and we already know what happened the first time Pokemon went into HD 3D open world. So, brace yourselves. The DLC being in 3 segments, I actually like this. I actually think the way they did the DLC for Scarlet and Violet was low-key brilliant, because it kind of stretched Scarlet and Violet so far. And to be honest, if that's what they do, I think that's pretty good. I think what they should do, instead of doing a game every year, I think they should do main game, and then they should do a DLC and a smaller game, and then the next year do another DLC and a smaller game. All right, this way, 3 years, that's not bad. You know what I'm saying? Because that whole time they'll be developing whatever the next game is, and we'll get a 3-year-old Pokemon project, you know what I'm saying, that is fully fleshed out and everything, you know what I'm saying? And then you get your little spin-offs, like your little Detective Pikachu's and Mystery of the whatever, you can get all that kind of stuff. But you also get DLCs to the big game to kind of stretch out that content, which is pretty good. The regional forms, not bad. Pyroar makes sense. Camerupt, okay. Lucario, I can see that, and Probaz is kind of that random Pokemon that they kind of throw in there. Loads of AI enhanced features, such as battling, Pokemon interactions, which change depending on the Pokemon's nature and abilities, as well as friendship. So, AI enhanced features. So, you trying to tell me they use the AI for this? I don't know about that one. Now, they were hiring, when they did the hiring thing, they were hiring somebody to use AI, but I don't think that was in the actual design of the game. I think that was more like decoding, right? Because the AI, it's probably easier to use AI to debug your game than it is to have a person go through thousands of lines of code to find something that got broken. I don't think they're going to be like, we're going to do some AI animations. Bro, can you imagine if they did that, yo? And then some random Twitter user figures out oh my god, it's like Game Freak is using AI animations. It's going to be like Generation 7 all over again, bro. It's going to be the return of the low-res tree all over again, bro. I can't take it. Titles have not been decided yet, which okay, I can kind of see that. Some Pokemon getting alt evolutions include Phalanx, Probopass, Relicanth, and Chimecho. Chimecho's been popping up a lot in these 4chan leaks. Like, Probopass pops up twice in this one. So, I think people are just using weird Pokemon to make it seem more realistic. So don't use the popular ones all the time. Use some of the less popular ones to make it seem like, more realistic. Unknown will play an important and inciting role. Some get regional forms based off of the Greek alphabet. I think that is probably a cool idea. That is probably the best idea I've heard in a minute. All right, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, because the Greek alphabet is pretty unusual. You know what I'm saying? And come to think of it, they probably should have did this for Generation 6. Because the only other, like, one of the other most unusual alphabets out there is the Nordic alphabet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the Nordic alphabet is weird. So that would have been cool. Like, regional unknowns that are basically just different alphabet. That's a genius idea. Somebody on Game Freak need to get on that. Call this man. All right, call this man. He cooking. Xerneas and Yveltal are in game with different forms, possibly from Pokemon Legends ZA, which that wouldn't be a surprise. I can kind of see that. I mean, I don't see a direct connection between Legends ZA and this game. But having like, oh, well, if you get this item in Legends ZA, you can get Primal Xerneas and Yveltal in Pokemon, Greek, whatever. Okay, I can see that. That wouldn't be too bad. So far, this looks pretty cool. I will say it's a little bit fan fiction-y when it comes to like the 110 new Pokemon and all the DLC. You know what I'm saying? Like, that feels a little bit fan fiction-y, so I think this might be fake. But you never know, though. You never know. All right, so some quicker news here. So we've got Stealth with an update from Toyo Securities talking about the Switch 2. Now, there have been a lot of conflicting reports on Switch 2. There have been people saying that the system's not going to come out in this fiscal year, which is understandable. And when you got to think about it, the fiscal year is offset from the regular calendar year. So the calendar year is January through December. The fiscal year is, I believe, March through April. So technically, the fiscal year ends like second quarter of 2025. All right, so yeah, that's feasible for it to not come out second quarter. All right, I don't think most people, at least I think most people in this space kind of believe that the Switch wasn't coming out first quarter 2025, but Toyo security analyst Hideki Yoshida
you almost had it.
Hideki Yoshida believes Switch 2 is coming in the first half of 2025. He previously said it would be a major disappointment if Nintendo couldn't release it by March 2025. So I think he was saying that mainly because of that would make this fiscal year a pretty rough one for Nintendo, which is true. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're probably not going to meet that 13 million, system, limit that they were expecting this year. They're expecting to sell 13 million systems. I don't know how they were expecting to do that, but they probably won't hit that now. So this will be a pretty rough fiscal year for them. But I don't think it's going to be so bad. I mean, because the shareholders don't really seem to be too mad. We've heard about the shareholder meeting already. 9 times out of 10, what they're going to do is probably like November, they're probably going to have some kind of big conference. If not September. My fingers are crossed for September. But hopefully, at least by November, we get something on the Switch 2. Some kind of big Nintendo Direct or something. So, we got the Overwatch 2 news. So, we have some interesting news for Season 12. So, first off, we have a new skin is coming soon for Venture. Aaron Keller acknowledged that there has been a lot of talk around skins for Venture and mentioned that a really exciting skin is set to be released in season 14. 14, my guy? We just in season 12. Bro, if you're a Venture fan, you're gonna be hungry for a minute. Alright, now that would be kind of crazy if this is like a mythic skin. Like, what if Venture is gonna get the mythic for season 14? Which would be crazy, since I mean that would be like because usually what they do is they kind of like stretch out the mythics, right? So they'll do like DPS, support, tank, and then they'll just kind of alternate like that. So far this season they broke that, because last season was Ash was DPS, so this season was supposed to be tank, and next season was supposed to be support, but they broke that and just gave it to another DPS, just gave it to Reaper. So next season would either be a support, which would be really bad because that means that tank completely got skipped over, or the next season would be a tank. And then the season after that will be yet another DPS, which I don't know. I mean, the whole thing with Venture not getting skins is weird. I don't exactly know why. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting skins. Hopefully this doesn't happen to Juno. All right, Juno is way too kawaii for them to leave that money on the table. Updates to the Avoid as teammate in Overwatch 2. This is what I've been waiting on this. I've been waiting on this since they announced it in like season 9 or whatever. More Avoids. Bro, you don't even know, man. Alright, because I play the game around the same time of day, right? Usually at night, after I've done everything I gotta do. I've done my video stuff, I've done my real life stuff, and usually at night around like maybe 12, 1 o'clock, something like that, I get on for a couple hours, then I go to sleep. Alright, so I see a lot of the same people, and so I can kind of tell, like, okay, that person's kind of trash, that person throws, that person uses slurs, that person's a smurf. I can kind of tell, so, you know, now that we got all these avoids, I could just be able to, like, just throw people on the list, just leave them on there, and be like, boom. So, the system will now feature 15 avoid slots, 3 pinned, that allow you to permanently avoid a player, and 12 recent slots that time out after 7 days. Then will now use they will now use a priority system. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So the priority system thing basically means that, you know, they will be deprioritized as teammates if they're recent slots. All right, so they'll be deprioritized as teammates. But if push comes to shove and they got to stick you on the team with that person, they will, because they got to make a game. But that's good. Those 3 pin slots, oh yeah. I think I already know 2 people that's going to be in them jams. I don't never want to see y'all again in my life on my team. This right here, this is probably the biggest thing of the season for me. More avoids. So, the next one is the most interesting story. So, it looks like Blizzard will be maybe developing a mobile game for Overwatch 2. So, reports suggest that Microsoft has assembled a smaller team within Blizzard, mainly comprised of King employees, to develop titles based on existing franchises such as Overwatch. So now, I think this is a little bit vague, because, like, the team is part of Blizzard. It doesn't particularly mean that they're working on Overwatch Mobile. This could be WoW Mobile, to be honest. I think there's probably more money in WoW Mobile than it is in Overwatch Mobile. I mean, because what? Especially if we're going to go back to 6v6, do you really think that they want to have to build Overwatch Mobile and then have to alter Overwatch Mobile to work on less phones because we go back to 6v6 and 6v6 requires more resources, but the giga chads of the 6v6 community don't care because they don't really care about anybody else but themselves, you know, that type of situation. So I don't know if it's Overwatch 2. I think it's probably going to be WoW. They're probably going to try to move WoW to mobile more than likely. All right, so the big story. So the big old story for this one, we have Black Myth Wukong has officially got its review scores dropped, and it's about what you expect. So Gamer Sky. Well, side note here, I've never heard of some of these outlets, bro. Like Gamer Sky, God is a Geek, like Voxel. Like, who are these people?
Who are these niggas?
I cried laughing when I read it.
You know what I'm saying?
But let's go through the list though. So Gamer Sky gave it a 10 out of 10. God is a Geek gave it a 10 out of 10. Gamer Bolt gave it Gaming Bolt gave it a 10 out of 10. Voxel gave it a 9.3 out of 10. Hardcore Gamer gave it a 9 out of 10. Wikift Tech gave it an 8.5 out of 10, which, by the way, these people they put out that weird dicey article about the Switch 2's like power. That's something I'm gonna cover in the Switch 2 video. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I they're a little dicey in my book. You know, Esports gave it an 8 out of 10. Checkpoint gave it an 8. Slant gave it an 8. Games Radar gave it an 8. Hey, poor player. Who are these niggas? Gave it an 8. Noisy Pixel gave it an 8. IGN gave it an 8, which that's surprising because allegedly IGN has a beef with this game. So, The Gamer gave it an 8. But Wido, okay, that one I like. All right, that one I like. Okay, they gave it a 7.5. Ooh, they gave it a 7. Y'all gonna get some hate mail. All right. All y'all in this bottom half probably gonna get some hate mail. So Steve Viver gave it a 7. Windows Central gave it a 7. They probably gave it a 7 because it's not coming to Xbox. That's what it is. Game Skinny gave it a 7. RPG Side gave it a 7. And the 6 Axis, which is a PlayStation themed site, by the way, gave it a 6. So you know they probably gonna send flaming. They probably gonna put flaming poop on that man's porch. All right, because people are hardcore about these review scores. All right, allegedly there was a leak of the review from IGN, and it was supposed to be a 5. You know, but I'm guessing that was a lie. So you know, but yeah, I think this is pretty interesting. I've been following if you've been following me on Twitter, I've been following Black Myth Wukong. I've been battling the propaganda bots and stuff that talk about this game. So I'm probably gonna end up doing a second channel video on this. So watch the second channel. I'm probably gonna be talking about Black Myth Wukong in the next week or so. So that's about it for this. Tell me what you think down below. Do you think that we got bad news for Legends ZA? Tell me what you think about the 4chan text dump. Tell me what you think about anything else we talked about. And like, comment, subscribe, and as always, people, keep it real.